quarter. Make sure to nominate them. The nominations form will close on Sunday. It's right there. It's also in your email. And then also the last AS newsletter of the school year will go out on Sunday. So if you have any end of quarter events, make sure to submit them by Thursday at midnight so that we can finalize that all by Friday, and it'll go out on Sunday to all the undergrads. So make sure to do that. And then lastly, I just want to point out that the AS Awards ceremony, really fun. The date is being changed to Thursday, June 4th. It was originally on Tuesday, now it's Thursday. So make sure to mark your calendars. It's going to be at 5 p.m. at the Club and Guest House over there by the lagoon. And then also an email was sent out with all this information, but we've got some upcoming financial deadlines. So make sure to get all your requisitions in before the end of the year so that you can get reimbursed. Okay, well, without further ado, we are gonna get started with a little introduction of our newly elected executive officials. So could I have all the incoming and outgoing executives come up to the stage? We'll do right on the side and coming over. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll go CJ. Okay. Well, I'm gonna first give some time for our new executive director, Sean Lieberman, to share a few words. Give it up for Sean.
Happy to see everyone. A few quick words before I hand it back to Leanne and our new incoming and outgoing executives. So a huge congratulations on another successful year of events, advocacy, and leadership. It's been an honor to serve as your executive director during this academic year. And I like to think that we all learned quite a bit over the past year. We advertise AS as experiential learning. So I'm hoping you all have enjoyed the experience. It's the highs and lows of pulling something from the brink of failure to become a huge success, which I've seen over and over again within the organization. And I'm always incredibly impressed. We have the award ceremony coming up, but everyone submits their photos and videos of the events they put on throughout the year. And I'm looking through it, seeing events that I wasn't able to attend. And I was like, wow, they did this, they did this, they did this. And you're an impressive bunch. And I'm looking forward to working with the next group as well. So I like being brief, so I'll cut it at that, and back to thank you.
Okay, so again, really big congratulations to everyone who went through the election season. It was long, it was hard, it was brutal as always. And so just a big round of applause to all the senators and executives. I'm super excited to introduce to you all our next student advocate general, Suyan Wang. And Suyan is unfortunately in DC right now doing UCDC, but she has a few words that she wanted to share.
Good evening, everybody. Students. My name is Suyan. I'm a student at Hamilton, and it's such an honor to serve alongside your past years. Many of you have spoken with, many of you I have collaborated with, and many of you I have attended, and I've learned so much from each other working. So I talk a little bit about my relationships for next year. Firstly, I hope to the man that see a communication from the university. Ever since I came to our state, we are struggling with more physical. Over the past years, we've successfully established relationships with different officers and influencers, including our financial officers to conduct, officers to run, officers to interaction, officers to manage the direction, However, these contracts are inconsistent and are not within. So this year, with this coming year, I'm hoping to really extend our foundation for the board, and to make sure that all information I can deliver to student individuals entirely right. Secondly, my intention is how sixteen earlier, about students and the individuals that able to not including our officers. Officers offers 300 resource service for any student involved in the university. So my goal is to really extend our commitment and make sure students are aware that we manually call you, we have that. So now we know that video. That's the video of the video that kids in the world, that's in the society in the early which is called the I'm going to streamline the process. If you're going to be trying to part of the first option, to be compassionate, and then what's an action with things, and to make the first of it, actually, but we also make that a speed process. And then before we bring everyone on the video. This is what I'm going
Oh my. Okay, next, I am super thrilled to introduce to you all Jasmine Say as your next external vice president for statewide affairs. Hi everyone. Wow. How are we doing today? Yeah. Okay, so today I'm super grateful and honored to be in this room with so many amazing student leaders. So looking forward for a wonderful next year. But first I want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for voting in our election. It was long-winded, it was insufferable, we dropped minutes, and thank you for doing that and voting. So what the priorities for this year, which I think is clear, is number one, increasing student participation in acting and organizing spheres through our various conferences and our lobby days. So if you guys are interested in statewide on federal lobbying or conferencing or organizing, that's really your chance to BPSA office for those who you guys connected into it. Secondly, advocating for marginalized communities, disabled students, undocumented students, and immigrants, and doing that through all our legislative priorities with BCSA. It's very boring. But thirdly, I want to work with UCU, increasing transparency, and also being able to build that relationship. And this year has been very fun. So really streamlining that next year. That's one of my priorities. And lastly is get to know all of you guys. Y'all are really cool, and it's going to be an awesome and amazing team for next year. So once again, you guys all for coming here and for voting. I think that's all kind of sick. But yeah, I hope you guys. Thank you, Jasmine. Next, I am super excited to introduce to you all for the first time as an external vice president for local affairs, Noah Lucan.
Hi everyone, my name is Noah Lucan. I'm going to be the next PDPLA. Really excited to continue working with the association. I love connecting with PCUs as chair of outreach committee this year, and connecting with the student body, hoping to do the same with PDPLA. Three major initiatives I'm going to have my office focusing on are one, City Vote for Isla Vista. Chancellor Assange told me to talk to you about that. This is going to be a big thing that students been excited about for a while now. Two, working on housing and living conditions as well as housing affordability. It's a big issue, as we know, in Isla Vista. And so hoping to focus on that. And then thirdly is generating or creating enterprise units for the association. Units that will be able to bring in revenue with the ultimate goal of reducing and or even eliminating student fees, because the association can become self-sustaining if you have such units. And yeah, feel free to reach out with any questions, especially the new senators. I'd love to work with you all. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Noah. Next, I'm very excited to introduce Victoria Lee as your next internal vice president.
Hi guys, I'm Vicky. I'm the incoming internal vice president. I'm super excited. I learned a lot of things since we're a connected, informed, and empowered student body, but it's also tied to association. And one of the things we're learning on is to make our association more connected. So ECU, staff, the executive branch, Senate, like I want everyone like to know each other's monthly working relationships. That's something I'm really working on. Also, association connected to the student body, like we're here serving the students. And a lot of people don't know what like AS does, and you do so much great work, and I want the student body to know about that, so that's something we're really focusing on. Inform, I want the student body to be informed of the legislation we passed, the great events that we all host. I think that's really important. And then after that, it's empowered, and then students know like all the great work we do, and all the resources that we have. And they can feel empowered to create change on their own too. And that also applies to us. Like I want to make sure that our resources are centralized. I want to make sure all the ECUs feel supported. All like everyone in the association has the resources that they have to succeed. And then if you know how to do this properly, your Robert's rule, and you guys focus on all the great work you guys are already doing, and focusing on having to figure out where the legal code is or like what legal code says. But yeah, I'm super excited to get to know everyone. My biggest thing will just be like forming relationships and meeting everyone here. And yeah, I'm super excited for next year. I know some of you guys are graduating, will be missed. But yeah, I'm super excited to work with you from here. Thank you.
Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, I'm super excited. We have a two-term executive to introduce. Let's all welcome EJ Rad as your next AS president. Yay.
Hi everyone, my name is EJ Rad. I'm super honored and excited to have the opportunity to serve as the next Associate Vice President. With how long campaign was going, I thought maybe I'd graduate by the time it was over to 11. It was finished. I'm very excited for the work next year. I really have a vision of like uniting the association on some of our big shared goals, things like the next City Library, like Guidance Cityhood, like using our student fees to provide more services for our student body. And I'm super excited to have a chance to work with all of you. My door is always open. Never hesitate to reach out, and thank you for all the opportunity.
Thank you all. I'm so excited to see how you guys grow and what you accomplish over the next year, and I'm really just looking forward to it. Before we switch gears to kind of, instead of looking forward, reflecting back on the year, on the quarter and the year that we've had, I was just wondering, Chancellor, if you would like to say anything. Yeah, such a big thank you to Chancellor Sonnet and Vice Delaney for being here. Would you like to come up?
Yeah. Come join us. Thank you, Leanne. First of all, let's give a hand to Leanne. She has been a phenomenal president. And congratulations to everybody in the new board. I look forward to working with all of you. AJ, congratulations. You have some very big shoes to fill, you know that. And yeah, absolutely. But I think we have a lot of common interests and objectives. And I know that working with you and all of you here, we can accomplish those hopefully in the next year and beyond. Just a few words. It's been a phenomenal year. And I think your love and support and interest and engagement has made it for us terrific. I'll give the mic to Eleni, first of all, to tell you how she felt about the year, and then I'll tell you some more things.
Hello, everybody, and congratulations to all of you. The president primarily, but you need a lot of help to get with. So it's a wonderful place. You know that you've been here longer than we've been, most of you. And it's not only the beautiful landscape and the water and the mountains, and you're very privileged because we went to colleges that There was no mountain, no water. There was just college and ugly roads around it. So beyond that, it's the community. It's a wonderful community, and part of it is you. You make it really warm, really friendly, really collaborative. And this is something that now you feel that, oh, it's life. But when you move on and you look back, it will follow you and create the best memories for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So what I want to say is that this has been a year with many highs and unfortunately a few lows. But I know before you all have realized it, especially our seniors, it'll be over. And then you'll be so sad, right, that you're leaving this magical place. And I hope you won't go very far and you'll come back as alumni and continue to be involved with us, because the journey should not stop, when you're graduating. We're here for you throughout your careers. Clearly, we had a lot of happy moments. I know there was a very happy moment this Sunday with the extravaganza. Maybe it was a little too extravagant for the people who take care of the turf, and they're very anxious. They had to work till midnight the next 2 days to make sure it's ready for the Austrian team that they're practicing there. But it's been amazing, Deltopia and Soltopia and so many other incarnations, of celebrations that bring our students together. And I think for the most part, they went very well in terms of the safety of everyone in the community. I want you to know that safety is very important to me, and I know it's important to everybody in my administrative team. Here and there, we have an incident that simply we condemn and it doesn't belong. For example, you heard very recently there was an incident of a violent sexual assault. That is absolutely no place in our community. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. I'll be sending a message tomorrow to the entire community. Oftentimes, we're limited in the moment by what we can say because of all the legal implications, as I'm sure you can appreciate the need for confidentiality of everybody. Everybody are led to be involved in those situations, but I think it's important for us to build a community where safety is number one priority, because if we're not safe, we cannot learn, we cannot enjoy, we cannot partake in the amazing experience here. And it is a shared responsibility. We'll always do what we want to do and we need to do proactively and, install more cameras and security systems and all that stuff. But ultimately, it's behavior, it's education, it's on all of us that we can make this happen. I know we can work with the board to promote those initiatives, and I applaud for sure the work that Leanne did this year to take on some of this. Again, I want to have an amazing campus. The other thing I would say is I get it that housing is important, and clearly we're very committed. As you know, my number one initiative has been since we started, when I came here, is to solve these problems, hopefully once and for good. That's why we're undertaking the building of 3,500 new beds at the cost of $1.1 billion. That's a big price tag, but it's well worth it. And we're clearly working on that. We topped off the San Benito project, and so we've reached the peak, and they'll be ready by fall of 27. And we'll have more beds with the East Campus housing by fall of 28, including a living learning community there for the creative studies college major. So I think it'd be pretty amazing. Those 3,500 new beds will, number one, help everybody here so we can offer a 2-year commitment that we can meet you where you are and when you need to be in terms of having housing. But at the same time, we'll put a lot of pressure on the Isla Vista, landlords to provide prices that are more affordable. I mean, our prices will come in 20-25% lower, than the market rate. So you can imagine what that'll do. So the inventory is a key thing, and we won't stop here. We'll continue to look at opportunities to add some more capacity. There's another exciting thing that I want you to be looking forward towards in next year and beyond. We are adding the 410 State Street space in downtown Santa Barbara, which will be an amazing place for community engagement. Many of you like to have careers and jobs and internships and serve the communities and all that stuff. So you'll be able to do that. You should be able to also, for some of the majors, spend an entire quarter where you take your entire coursework in downtown Santa Barbara. And I think that'll be really great because obviously you can be immersed in that experience while you continue to use the library, hopefully around the clock. And many other of our facilities here, including the rec facilities. Athletics also is a big thing for Campus Spirit. So Liane and Lena and I have been working with another group on a better branding and spirit for our institution so that we can have those memories and make sure that you cheer around the year, not just wait for Deltopia. So, I promise you that at the right time, we will introduce tailgates around the year associated with our basketball games and maybe baseball games and other things. That'd be amazing. Imagine a gathering every Saturday. Why wait for one time in the year? And so I think there's a lot more that we can do working together if there is trust and community building. I mean, we're an amazing institution. But I want you for the next few weeks, rather than think about the next year, is to focus on your exams. And I know the weather is really amazing. So it's very hard. I mean, God, I'm not a student anymore. I mean, it'd be very hard to concentrate and take those final exams, but you've got to do well. You're gauchos. And again, congratulations for a great year. And we look forward to seeing you for many more years. Thank you.
Can you give a really quick picture before we get started? Sean, Suzanne,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, before you go, can we take a picture with the whole board?
Yeah.
While you're
Yes.
like coming upstairs? Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
With the camera.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all mine, so you're gonna be way over Yeah, exactly, outside the room.
Thank you.
No.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, and without further ado, let's get started on our quarterly reports and celebrate all our hard work this quarter. The speaking order is on your tables, and I will just refresh this really quickly because I know you guys are still working on it. Okay, and we'll kick it off with GGC. And a reminder to please line up a few people ahead of yours. So we're starting with GGC, IVCRC, and IAC.
Wait, I have 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Molly. I'm the current vice chair of GGC. And yeah, let's get into it. So during this quarter, GGC has focused on recruitment, officer transition, and the finalization of ongoing programs and initiatives. We also met with OISS extensively to advocate for further collaboration opportunities, discuss updates, and other improvements to the OISS website. In terms of our leadership, GGC has held weekly board meetings throughout the quarter, maintained consistent internal communication and project coordination. The commission completed a competitive recruitment cycle, selected one treasurer, one secretary, one communication director, one policy director, and 2 project officers. We also dedicated significant effort towards preparing onboarding materials, meeting with incoming officers to ensure a smooth and effective transition process. Additionally, the board focused on transition planning and securing storage options for the welcome package project scheduled for the fall quarter of next year, ensuring that the incoming board would be able to execute the project confidently and efficiently. This multi-phase initiative included updating all informational materials within the pamphlet, renewing the tote bag, pamphlet designs, coordinating item purchasing, storage logistics, and distribution planning for the fall. We hosted a total of 4 programs and collaborative events this quarter. The Global Mentorship Picnic Social, Mentor Workshop, Study Jam, and then the GGC and TQC Speed Friending Social. The Global Mentorship Program is an ongoing collaboration we have with Health and Wellness. It basically pairs up international students and EAP reciprocity students that have been here for 3 quarters or more with incoming students. And the TQC one was Transfer and Queer Center. It was a great project. Our ongoing initiatives, we are continuing to collaborate with the AS Living History, working to document and journal international student activism and organization. This project contributes to preserving institutional memory and elevating international student voices within AS. In addition, we also met with OASS extensively, like I discussed before. We agreed to establish long-term institutional partnerships to support future collaborations and programming initiatives. We have also permanently added to the OASS website as a campus resource for international and global students. Finally, our funding support for student organizations. We provided funding support for 4 externally hosted cultural and community events: ISA Charcuterie Board Night, ISA Mocktail Social, SEAU in Bloom, and the Nikkei Student Union Culture Night. And all the metrics are up there on the slide. For GGC's internal projects and initiatives, the commission spent a total of $783.76 during the quarter. Finally, looking ahead, GGC will be welcoming an entirely new board of officers. The current officers are either graduating or transitioning to other commitments and obligations. Moving forward, the commission will prioritize advancing the Welcome Package initiative, strengthen support for incoming international students, and enhance the onboarding experience in future quarters. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Rahul. I'm the internal chair of Isla Vista Community Relations Committee, or IVCRC. So some of the things that we did this quarter, hopefully all of you know or were able to come and spend some time at Pardal Carnival this quarter. That was our biggest event of this quarter. We were able to kind of expand our reach into the Ivy community by featuring a Ferris wheel, local Isla Vista restaurants, a cappella groups, and we were also able to have Raíces de Mi Tierra perform for the first time at Pardal Carnival. And we saw 1,173 participants. Obviously, the numbers are, it's always difficult to get people to sign. And so the numbers may be a little off, but 1,173 is our conservative estimate of participants at the carnival this year. And while the carnival was a big success, we also had some opportunities to learn from this, just in terms of concerns that some Isla Vista vendors reached out to us in terms of us shutting down the street and not receiving enough support from the Community Services District and perhaps other organizations when we shut down the street, and the effects of Pardal Carnival on their business. So all of these are ideas that we're gonna take up next year while we plan the carnival. And we continue to fund other community events and funded a lot of events, including the Surf Riders Concert for the Coast, the YMCA's Family Fair, IVRPD, and multiple other organizations. This was our biggest spending quarter with about 53.8% of our budget that we utilized. Most of it went towards the Pardal Carnival, but the rest of it, as usual, went to funding community events. And given that we're spending all this money and we're giving out all this money to different organizations, and to ensure that we're reimbursing students in a timely manner, we went ahead and added an additional treasurer position to our board, which was filled within its first quarter, to ensure that there's an offset of the financial delay, especially now that we're moving to Microy, which I know has been confusing for a lot of us, but we're working through it and it's going great now. Well, so thanks so much for the opportunity, and we look forward to continuing to do the great work that IVCRC does.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Richard. I am the chair of the Investment Advisory Committee, or IAC for short. This quarter, we've currently actively invested in 5 different broad asset classes, of which in our organization, we have 9 different industry groups. This quarter, we've also hosted weekly meetings where we've made investment pitches and consequently have made close to 20 buy and sell transactions. This quarter, we've also hosted our spring recruitment cycle, taken in close to 20 new members into the organization this quarter, and now we have roughly 70 members. Since inception, since 2014, we've generated over 300% returns in our investments, and next school year, we're looking to add $50,000 towards that portfolio. And yeah, as you guys can see, here are the numbers. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am the chair of the Media Center and Creative Media Unit. My name is Yo-Yo Huang. And this quarter, we had a couple of projects going on. So first of all, we helped with the elections campaign through graphic design support, photography, social media coordination, and in-person outreach. We did our annual disposable camera challenge, which is we gave out about like 135 disposable cameras for free to students, and we will get those developed for them for free as well. And then they can enter the photographs they take into a contest, and then the top winners will all get some prizes. And this is to encourage people to engage with creative media and to document their lives at UCSB. We also advanced our social media coordination. So this quarter, we really focused on planning our social media schedule. We now have a calendar that we actively add to. And we also try to enhance the quality and quantity of our Instagram posts. So for anybody who doesn't know, if you ever do want to get your event on the AS UCSB page as a permanent post, you can always reach out to me. My email is cmuofficer@as.ucsb, and we will help to see if we can coordinate that. And if you want to collaborate with us, please let us know in advance. We do have to plan our social media schedule. So if your collab requests have not been accepted, that's because we never heard about your event beforehand. We are still working on the AS branding initiative. We have made some progress on creating the branding guidelines or kits, and this will be a summer project for us to work on. And then another summer project is advanced or remodeling the AS website. We began conversations with this with Chelsea, our art director, and also with the staff web developer, Alex. And we will also be working on this throughout the summer. Our Pearman Fellows, Gina and Reina, they completed their project, which is an AS marketing report that analyzes the association's marketing, branding, and outreach practices and provides viable improvements. They also both won awards at yesterday's Pearman Fellowship Research Exposition, so congratulations to them. And then we are currently working on a video for orientation programs where we will be introducing associated students and our services. And we worked on the screenwriting, filming, editing, and also communication with various departments. Finally, we worked on recruitment. So we designed a recruitment pipeline, created transition documents, and have already onboarded most of our new members. Our subcommittee, UCSB TV, is still in the middle of the recruitment process, but they will soon be finished with that as well. Oh, and our budget, so we spent most of our money this quarter, around $8,000 just on getting new equipment for the media center and for our student staff, and also for the disposable camera challenge. And then the media center program, so equipment checkouts as of like Monday are at 220. Last quarter, it was 252, so we're on track to surpassing that number. Studio reservations already at 21, which will definitely surpass last quarter's amount. Workshops, we've increased that to twice a week, especially thanks to our student photographer, Ryan Young. She is hosting free photography 101 workshops as well as headshot sessions, which have really helped increase engagement. We usually have 2 to 3 students per workshop so that they can get one-on-one advice. Our graphic artists worked on, I believe, 11 different projects this quarter. And then photography, our 2 photographers also worked on about 10 different projects. And then our videographer, Miley, shout out to her. She's been working on a lot. I think she's had about 5 projects this quarter to work on, which is actually a lot of work for one person. And something to note, so we noticed that a lot of orgs request photography or videography services, but then we don't ever see those photos or videos on social media. So I just want to encourage people, if you do request our services, we would actually love to have those photos or videos online or on your website somewhere. And if you don't want to post it on your own page, like give ASU CSB the permission and we'll post it on our main page. Yeah, so that was all. And also just a short report on our subcommittee, UCSB TV. They've continued doing a lot of news stories on their social media accounts, and they're finishing up the recruitment, as I have said before. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley and I'm the admin coordinator for Coastal Fund. Every year, the Coastal Fund is proud to support projects, events, and initiatives that celebrate, protect, and enhance our local coastal ecosystem. Each quarter, we review and allocate funding to proposals that directly involve UCSB students and make a tangible impact on our coastline. We distribute approximately $200,000 per quarter and around $600,000 per year to student-driven projects that advance coastal research, restoration, education, and sustainability. We fund around 50 internships in these areas throughout the year. And beyond project funding, we also invest in student development through scientific dive training fee support, where we provide students with financial assistance to cover course fees and essential equipment to complete UCSB's scientific dive training program and certification. This opportunity not only reduces financial barriers, but also equips students with skills needed to conduct underwater research and contribute meaningfully to marine science. This fee support, along with funding paid internships, uphold Coastal Fund's goal to support equitably paid accessible opportunities for students. We also do event co-sponsorships, where we support 1 to 2 events per year hosted by our partner organizations whose work align with our goals. For example, last quarter, we approved funding for this past Saturday's Concert for the Coast, put on by Ivy Surfrider. These partnerships strengthen our collective impact and expand community engagement and coastal stewardship around our campus. And each year, we all come together to celebrate all of our accomplishments through Coastal Fund's end-of-year celebration. And we highlight the projects we were able to support over the year and recognize the dedication of all of our student leaders, showcasing the projects we've been able to support for the year. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Michaela with the Isla Vista Tenant Union. This quarter, we have a yearly budget of around $800,000, but a lot of it goes to paying for rent of the Parle Center. But outside of that, we've spent around $5,000 this quarter, not including honoraria. And the money we set aside for our rent support grant in collaboration with the Financial Crisis Response Team. This quarter was our first quarter live with that grant, and we've already utilized $32,000 out of $50,000. So I'm very happy about that. And I think we are looking to increase that amount for next year. We also opened an IVT resource corner in the Parle Center, which offers free housing supplies like wall patching kits and mold kits, sponges, cleaning supplies, anything like that that students might need in the Parle Center, which should go live next week. Thank you, Hannah, for letting us do that. Information-wise, this quarter, we're really busy with providing information around subleasing and security deposit, this is especially important for students who are graduating and leaving Ivy forever, wanting to get their security deposit back. We also continue to lease advising and legal advising with the LRC, making sure students are provided expert guidance that's free and accessible. In addition, we also table bi-weekly outside of GLG or the Arbor, and we've given 5 presentations in the freshman residence halls with approximately 30 to 40 students in attendance per session. Our Pearman Fellow Tanner also took our housing guide, which has information about if certain companies in Ivy allow no guarantors, if they allow pets, etc. And he automated it into a website with customizable filters, which is pretty cool to see. And this quarter, we also celebrated the 20th anniversary of the Pardall Center and IBTU. 20 years of, being present in the community, showing up for tenants and making sure that students are well educated and feel supported, especially in issues and conflicts, because we all know living in IB can suck sometimes. And I think that's really it. I'm really excited for, next year. I've been in IBTU for a really long time, and I just want to say thank you to the association. I've seen positive things, constant progress, and thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I'm one of the co-chairs for Trans and Queer Commission.
Hi, I'm Summer. I'm the incoming co-chair. And this year we spent about $50,000 out of our $11,000 budget. We spent almost all of our MOU, which we've transferred the rest from Finance Committee's account to our account to replenish our deficit. We're projecting to spend about $10,000 for the rest of the quarter on the rest of our events. And as far as projects go, this year we had our annual Pride Week where we had events every week, every day of the week. We had our rainbow roller skating, queer research panel. We had a comedy show with Dwayne Perkins. We had our Trans Care Fair, a student film festival, fashion show, queer prom, queer fest, and our famous drag show. We got a really good turnout on all of these. And then we had our MLM speed dating event, our UndocuT Spring Scholarship Fund, which we're really proud of. This year we've been prioritizing using our funds on resources like grants, scholarships, and just giving back to the community, as well as collaborations with other VCUs and campus departments such as RCSGD, for which we funded their T for T Tiki Ball. And we've been doing weekly sapphic scrapbooking in collaboration with BWHC, Black Queer, and the RCSGD, as well as funding the Outspoken Discussion Space, which is just a place for transgender and gender nonconforming folks to come and just have open discussions surrounding their gender identity.
And then we had a few more events, forgive us for how long this is. We had our Spring Queer Picnic, a trans and non-binary makeup workshop, a lecture by Jeffrey Zuckerman, where he came in to talk about, I think, translating
French queer writer.
Yeah. We had a Take Back Drag Night with AS Take Back the Night and Drag Club. We had an NQT Speed Friending Social with Global Gaucho Commission, which we heard about a bit earlier. We had a town hall on flower making, which had really good attendance this year. Shout out Laura. We had a Queer Book Club giveaway. We did a jewelry creation with BCUs and RCSGD. We had a Utopia Community Zine making workshop. We had a Queer South Asian game night, a QT BIPOC Beach Sunset Social. This Friday at 7 p.m. in Ivy Theater 1, we're having Turtle with Hat come and do a dating show, which I'm really proud of. And then our last big event for the school year is going to be our Ivy Pride event, where we celebrate Pride Month on May 31st. Thank you, guys.
Hello, I'm Zach. I'm part of AS Recycling along with these folks, and we help sort the trash on campus. We service over 90 bins as well as over 50 e-waste locations. And then a couple other projects and events and initiatives we do. Shoe recycling, we did 225 pounds of that this quarter. Tone and cartridge recycling, 170 pounds. Flow Lab plastic recycling, 117 pounds. And we had our first inaugural trash bash with 70 students in attendance to raise awareness about Earth Month. Our budget's $199,000, and this quarter we spent an estimated $57,000, which includes $22,000 for staff salaries, $25,000 for student salaries, and $10,000 on operating expenses. One thing we would like to share with you guys is obviously we like to have a little bit of fun with our job just because it's kind of strenuous work sometimes. So I'd like to share this little video with you guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Why is it not working? Okay, there.
Let's see. Oh,
There we go. Okay, hello, everyone. We are the Department of Public Works. For those not familiar, we collect food, pre-consumer food scraps from the dining commons and compost that and use that to grow produce for the AS Food Bank. And this quarter, we spent around $32,060. And of that, 12,500 went to staff salaries, 15,000 went to student salaries, 3,260 went to operating supplies, and then 1,300 was for monthly expenses. And as for our stats for spring quarter, we collected 3,232.6 pounds of food scraps from the dining commons, the community, and various other places like the food bank and the Orphelia Children's Center. And with that, we created 873.6 pounds of compost. And then we also grew 433.7 pounds of produce that was donated to the AS Food Bank.
okay, awesome. So in terms of our spring initiatives for this quarter, we held monthly volunteer days, and we had a native garden planting workshop with ASA, as well as Earth Month Warm Bin workshop. And then our biggest event of this quarter that had the largest turnout was our Worm Fest, which had 100+ attendees. And it was very successful. There was live music and games and food. And then there was also lots of worms. And another thing to note is this quarter we expanded our worm bin operation. So now we have 2 worm bins, which means more vermicompost for our farm. So more produce is grown. So thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Priscilla. I'm the Vice Chair of the Human Rights Board, or HRB. We have been having a great quarter so far. We've already spent $15K of our budget for the year. And some of this money all of this money that we've spent has gone to some events that you can see here. Our Passport Around the World event, which was amazing, brought together about 100 students over 3 different events through collaboration with the Public Mental Health Commission and also cultural orgs, where people got to share bits and pieces from their own cultures and really engage with the worldly side of UCSB. And then some of this money is also going to Dead Week dinners, which is in collaboration with CauseWeb, for free dinners for about 100 students each day of that week. That will total in $7,500. And then our leftover budget is going to go to the Student Health Reproductive Justice Fund as part of Students for Reproductive Justice Initiative, which is one of our subcommittees. And SRJ has been doing a lot of work. They've been doing weekly tabling and held their own event this quarter about sex education you missed in high school. So yeah, keep up with us. Make sure to attend some of our events that we still have planned for the rest of this quarter. And thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Rita, one of the co-chairs of Bike Committee.
Hi, everyone. My name's Anthony. I'm the other co-chair of Bike Committee. Our total budget this year was around $230,000. This quarter, we spent about $75 other than honoraria, and that was for tabling supplies and giveaway items for the events that we did this quarter. So the two main events that we did this quarter were that we participated in EAB's Ivy Earth Day. So we gave out the rest of our bike light supply that we purchased at the beginning of the year in fall quarter. And then just last week, we had an event in collaboration with the Bike Shop, Move Santa Barbara County, and Santa Barbara County Association of Governments as part of Cyclemania. And it was a workshop event at the Bike Shop where we gave away gift bags of bike repair and safety supplies and got some cool demos from a bike shop mechanic. Yes, and we raffled some helmets and t-shirts.
And in terms of the ILB bike path, it's on track. And the construction is set to happen during fall, and it's currently under coastal commission review. Thank you.
Very much.
Good. Hi everyone, my name is Anna. I'm one of the executive chairs of the Environmental Affairs Board on campus. EAB has 6 subcommittees. All of them are working on a few different projects or events at any given time. Every quarter we have our weekly core meetings as well as general meetings, which are open to everyone in the UCSB student body. We also have 1 to 2 additional events every week. And these weekly events or activities include things like pickling, organizing sessions for various advocacy campaigns, making signs, and preparing for some of our bigger events. We've done intergenerational advocacy workshops with the Fearless Grandmothers and more. Spring is our busiest quarter. 2 of our biggest events fall during the spring. That includes the Classic Free Fair, which is an educational event encouraging sustainable living practices and giving students the knowledge and the tools to limit plastic consumption in their daily lives. We also have our Ivy Earth Day Festival, which we do every year. This is a super fun event. It's by far the biggest individual thing that we do. It has live music, tons of activities, free food. This year's event went really well. We did have a little bit of weather concern. It was a little bit rainy, so we didn't have quite as big of a turnout as usual, but it was still super fun and we stuck it out. We also funded UCSB's first ever Earth Month celebration this quarter. That was put together by the AS Office of the President, but funded out of EAB's MOU. And we collaborated with a ton of orgs on and off campus. For what we've spent so far this quarter, it's come out to around 15,000 before honoraria, and then an additional 10,000 out of our MOU account. For the rest of the year, we're looking forward to continuing our recruitment process and transitions to our new board, making sure we keep up with our advocacy campaigns over the summer and getting everything we need to head into the next school year starting off strong. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessie with the Community Affairs Board. So this quarter, we spent around $78,000, both in internal and external funding requests. We had 14 internal events and 6 external funding requests. Our main expense for this quarter was our annual volunteer week, where we hosted a volunteer event every day of the week with the culmination on Friday of a social day. It was a huge success. So every day had its own mission. So Monday we had our CPR train as Astor Kids. Tuesday book fair, we had 600 plus members of the community come out here to Coram Pavilion, and we did this in partnership with Scholastic's Book Fair. So we were able to give away $20 vouchers for every child, and we were able to give away food, have activities, and it was a huge success. On Wednesday, we had our Care Expo also here in Coram Pavilion, where we partnered with local nonprofits such as Vigilant, and we had a blood drive, Planned Parenthood, and many other services in the community to help UCSB students connect with nonprofits and find ways to continue volunteering post-grad and also paid experiences like internships. On Thursday, we had our Unity Shop downtown where we brought UCSB students and we had them volunteer there. And we were also able to give away 1,100 Yetz's bagels to help help combat the basic needs in our community. On Friday, that was our volunteer celebration. We were giving away free food. We had live music, hygiene products to give away, and it was all a big success. And then Saturday, we had our elder restoration. We were able to plant more species that are helpful to the environment to help bring back the butterflies. We also hosted our alternative breaks trip for this quarter. We went to New Orleans, and CAB has gone to New Orleans in the past. So we have a good relationship and with the local NGOs there in the community. So we brought out 12 volunteers. We did wetland restoration, home rebuilding, wellness kits. In addition to these events, we host our weekly volunteer opportunities up at Friendship Manor, volunteering at the kitchen, working with the seniors with their technology, FLP weekly, bi-weekly free tutoring K through 12. We have a reading program where we give students or kids free books in exchange for completing their reading logs. So yeah, we have a bunch of different initiatives and programs. Our board is fully selected and picked for next year. I'll be returning as co-chair. We decided to sunset social chair and historian. So those are some changes to our leaderboard. And yeah, and ongoing projects, we hope to collaborate more with Basic Needs and CalFresh next year, and to have our general meetings be more converted. So every other week we host our general meetings, and we hope next year we can have speakers from different NGOs come to present to connect with local UCSB students. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, hello, my name is Deepthi. I'm filling in for our co-chair. I'm going to be one of the co-chairs for next year, but I'm here to talk about the Community Financial Fund. For those of you who don't know, we're a AS organization that's based on spreading financial literacy to college students. So we want to make sure that all college students leave our campus with very basic financial education so they can go into their adulting lives prepared. When we come to budget, we get about $282K a year, and this quarter we estimate spending about $80K of that. Most of that money comes straight from our grants, which I'll talk about later, but we also funded $5K for the meal voucher program and then $5K for the financial response team grants. And so that kind of adds up together. But spring, one of the things that we do every quarter is we host our grant workshops. These are workshops that take about 1 hour and 15 minutes, which are open to all UCSB undergrad students, where they learn the very basics of financial literacy. We had about 290 students sign up, and we offered 14 workshops week 2 of this quarter. And then each of those students finishing the workshop write a 1-page essay, they finish a quiz, and then they're able to apply for a grant. We give out $200 grants, which makes up the majority of our kind of spending. The next thing we did this quarter is our board went to the annual financial conference for financial education, which was in Orlando, Florida. This is basically a conference that we attend every single year. It's aimed at programming and strategy for teaching financial education to higher education classrooms.
and just adults in general. It was awesome. Our entire board was able to come. We learned and were able to hear from speakers on how to actually engage Gen Z in financial literacy. We learned about the One Big Beautiful Bill and how that's affecting student loans. We got a lot of new kind of event ideas that we're going to be implementing for next year. And then our kind of big one, for those of you who don't know, is April was Financial Wellness Month. So we had a kind of busy month here at CFF. We did a lot of tabling events and partnering up with other different orgs and RCOs on campus to make sure that we were expanding our reach. So some fun ones we did is we did debunking financial myths. We also did a hot ones event. So we had Wingstop out, and then our hot burning questions were financial literacy questions. Yeah, we were able to reach about 30 students per event. We also partnered up with Basic Needs, Undocumented Student Services, and Hispanic Serving Institution programming events. And then upcoming, we're planning a CFF financial banquet to kind of celebrate the end of our Financial Wellness Month and bring in all of our collaborators together. And then we're also in the process of board recruitment right now, and we have 4 positions that we are currently interviewing for. But yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Erin, and I'm here for the Environmental Justice Alliance. I am one of the project chairs. I'm filling in for our coaches for the maintenance pay. This quarter, we used the remainder of our budget, which was about $4,000, and this includes honoraria. We collaborated with several organizations to carry out our Alliance mission, which is to create a safe and educational space to learn about and practice environmental justice. Some of these groups included the Edward Camps Program, Environmental Affairs Board, IBCSD, Arts and Crafts Club, and IB Certified. For our events this quarter, we held an environmental justice community dinner, several volunteering opportunities, a compost workshop, craft night. We also ended up tabling at both Ivy Earth Day and Concerts for the Coast. As a board, we meet weekly and hold general meetings every other week, as well as distribute an environmental newsletter on Shoreline. Our attendance varies by event, but it's about 20 people per event. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Sadie, and I am one of the co-chairs for Transfer Student Alliance.
And I'm Leon, I'm the other co-chair for the Transfer Student Alliance.
So for this year, we had $15,000 for our total budget with $10,000 allocated to honoraria. And then this quarter, we spent about $3,300 with honoraria as well. So for our projects, events, and initiatives, our largest event was a collaboration with the Transfer Student Center, and it was our Burritos, Brains, and Blue Books event. We had about 100 plus participants, and we provided Chipotle burritos, chips, and condiments, and blended matcha to transfer students during finals week of winter quarter. This was definitely our largest turnout, and we ran out of everything in less than 7 minutes, so that was super exciting.
Yeah, and then this quarter, we heavily prioritized our outreach and recruitment. So for Transfer Student Alliance, most of our board are transfer students. So with that, our turnover rate is really high. Because like transfer students only have like most of us only have 2 years at UCSB. So we basically come and go. And so it's been a problem for Transfer Student Alliance to have a full board. But that being said, we are thrilled to announce that TSA will be going into next year with a full board. So we're super excited about that. And we have been working in our onboarding process, and it's been going good. I'm really excited for next year. And finally, we are in the last stages of finalizing our transfer stalls giveaway. So we are projected to give away about 140 transfer stalls. So if you are a transfer student and is graduating this spring, definitely keep an eye out for an announcement. But thank you, guys.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. We're Take Back the Night. We're an organization dedicated to raising awareness for sexual assault and supporting survivors on campus. I'm Cameron Curtin. I'm the external chair.
My name is Kayla Gooden, and I'm the internal chair.
I'm Valerie Tan and I'm the incoming internal chair.
So overall, our budget is 102,000, which included rollover from previous years. Our estimated amount that we spent this quarter was $31,373.71, which is not including honoraria. April and this whole quarter was really busy for us. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So some of our projects and events include a poster making event. We hosted Lisa Phillips, who's an Epstein survivor and activist, in a moderated Q&A discussion, which had 250 attendees. We hosted Stephen Mills and Anthony Edwards, an esteemed author and actor, to discuss male survivorship. We had a History of Denim Day event with the History Club. We had a Denim Day thrift fair with live music and resources. We had a drag event with the UCSB Drag Club and the Trans and Queer Commission. We hosted 2 empowerment self-defense classes with the MCC and the Women's Center. We tabled with care for Denim Day. We hosted a tote, face paint, etc. We also did our annual Take Back the Night rally at Little Acorn Park, which live music, and we walked along Port All. So we're working on safe sex kits to give to sororities and fraternities on campus. And we're working with the survivor and lawyers of the May 9th incident. We've tabled at You Matter, Office of the President, Basic Needs, Overdose Prevention Week, and we also help to fund Thriving Not Just Surviving. We're also recruiting if you want to join us in another role. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily, co-chair of AS CAUSEWeb, the Commission on Student Wellbeing. We have about a $30,000 budget after honoraria, but we got some additional funding for our big project last quarter and then discovered some unknown rollover, which we're partially allocating to next year's budget. So some of our projects and initiatives we focused on this quarter, a lot of tabling at many of your wonderful events, and also our free fitness classes, including cycling, Pilates, and a one-off event with Aloe, where they did a giveaway for a lot of yoga products. That was super fun on the Lagoon Sunset Yoga. We also do Mother's Day card making, the art of letting go, many mental health first aid trainings, and $700 of free bike repairs with AS Bike Shop. And upcoming, we have a lot of our larger events. We've only spent about $6,000 this quarter, but we're preparing for Finals Essentials booth and also the Dead Week dinners. Huge shout out to the Human Rights Board for that. And we are also onboarding our new board. I think right now at our meeting, we're deciding who to hire for next year. So that's exciting. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm the chair of the Pardall Center. If you don't know where the Pardall Center is at, it's in the heart of Isla Vista, that blue building that you see right in front of Ivy Deli. And what we do is we provide free resources to students, and that's including printing, event space, storage for organizations. Now we have a basic needs vending machine, and that is totally free for all UCSB students, which have Plan B, condoms, drink spiking test kits, vitamin C, first aid kits. I'm currently on the hunt to try and find orgs that are interested in helping fund the basic needs vending machine because we're running out of funds initially. So that's a project that the new board will be working on next year. We have a total of $233,000 and 600, yeah. And we spent about $63,000 this quarter. We did some spring events. The first one we did was Spring into Spring, which was during week 1, we handed out Blue Bug, Scantrons, and overall basic testing materials for the week. We also had breakfast for dinner, midterm study jams, of course, final study jam, look out for a final study jam. We had a pizza party during Soultopia to provide free food. And then upcoming, we also have a senior celebration going on. And next week, we have an Ivy Memorial Day to kind of memorial or provide a memorial for those that were unfortunately killed during the Isla Vista shooting 2014. So if you would like to come out, you can follow us on their Instagram page, our Instagram page, and we'll have a flyer out soon regarding details on that. Some goals that we have for the next year is collaborating with IBTU to provide household items, anything from toilet paper to mold test kits. We're gonna have that at the Pardall Center that you can all just come and grab. We're going to increase more tables and chair rentals for organizations and students that want to rent out tables and chairs. We last week just had furniture installed at the Pardall Center and more storage. So we now have more storage for AS orgs to come and store their items. You can also just send me an email if you're interested. And we usually have around 50 to 100 people come to the Pardall Center on an average daily. And yeah, we are increasing our Instagram page and providing and hosting more events. So stay tuned for next year. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne McGee. I'm the administrative executive for Black Women's Health Collab. This year, our total budget was $90,000. The estimated amount we spent was around $27,000. For this year, we had a lot of events and a lot of collabs. Some of them were the spring bouquet making. We help fund a vision fellowship for OBSD, a glimpse into a Black girl's mind. We did scrapbooking. We collabed with the Spring Queer Picnic, Melanin Gala. We also are doing Roots and Rhythms today. It's actually going on tonight at 8 downstairs at the USIN. You can enter in for a raffle for some vinyls or a record player. What else? We also have some upcoming events, the Black Beauty Expo with over 100 attendees attending. And then we have the Black Queer Prom. And yeah, for about all these events, we have a little over 50 plus attendees. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vinny and I'm the chair for the book bank. We had a total budget of $20,000. We spent $19,200, $15,000 for honoraria, $4,000 for the textbook support program, and $200 in supplies. Project events and initiatives that we had a pressed flower bookmark social with AMA, and we also launched the textbook grant support program, and we're able to successfully reimburse 50 students for the full cost of their textbooks. And we will have a final study jam event coming soon, probably during Dead Week. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We're here for UCSB Lobby Corps. My name's Ella. I'm the training director.
Hey, guys. I'm Gabriel, the labor director.
To start off, our total budget was $53,700. Our estimated amount spent this quarter was $1,500 on rental and leases, $2,100 on food for events, and $10,000 for a trip to DC, which is currently going on right now.
Yeah, we planned various identity-based lobby days in coordination with the EDPSA office that were all very successful and allowed students to meet directly with their legislators. The experience was very positive. It allowed for specific marginalized groups to have their voices heard by many representatives of the House. We also planned and facilitated a UCSB lobbying trip to DC, also with EDPSA and UCSA. The demands that we requested support for were well received, and our students reported having a very positive experience. We held general body meetings throughout the year centered around lobbying strategies and advocacy, such as phone banking and legislative research. We coordinated town halls with Representative Carball and Hart. We collaborated on professional networking events with Civic Roots and Fuerza Vegana. We also met with Supervisor Capps and the chair of the IBCSD to discuss the North County prison expansion. We met with ethnic study professors to discuss budget cuts to the department, as well as how to support them and the how to support them in the language department. Finally, we reached out to USS regarding immigration related policy gaps for class excusals for undocumented families facing ICE persecution. And yeah.
And for our participation metrics, we have about 40 students to Sacramento, our Sacramento trips to lobby, 25 to DC to lobby, and around 20 students per general body meeting, and around 24 students per town hall that we host.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm the co-chair for the Public and Mental Health Commission. Our total budget was 46,000 and we spent about 23,000 this year. One of our biggest events that we had was the mental health conference just this past Sunday, and that had about 300 people. That included a panel, keynote speaker, and other events within the conference. We also some ongoing projects we have is the Reproductive Justice Program, which provides funds for reproductive emergency health services for students, mental health first aid trainings, and then we had a few smaller events such as the non-traditional student center, collab study jam, hidden curriculum, navigating higher ed as a student of color, coffee and conversations event, midterm slime de-stress event, the mental health carnival, goat yoga, a Mother's Day brunch, and various tabling. Along with this, we onboarded for next year and we're redesigning our logo, so stay tuned for next year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily, internal chair of the AS Committee on Committees. And this quarter, we spent about $5,000 or $2,500 without honoraria of our total budget of $16,000. And part of that was on the spring quarter chairs meeting. Thank you, everyone who came to that. It was great. Also, AS Careers Fair, where we talked with students about how AS could prepare them not just for school involvement, but also beyond graduation towards their careers. We recruited for some orgs and advertised many, many more. And we also hosted Fuel Your Future, where we gave out free burritos to students who considered applying to AS roles and reviewed our website. And upcoming, we have Charge Up Your Resume, where we'll be handing out energy drinks in the arbor, similarly to encourage students to check out our website and see what's open in AS. And just a reminder to please fill out our spreadsheet if you have any open positions that you want us to advertise for or post on our website so that students can find them all in one place. We've been maintaining updates ever since it got renewed last quarter. And we've also been putting a lot of effort into onboarding new members and building really strong training manuals in the drive to have a strong foundation for next year, including working with Senate to track appointments and resignations. Thank you.
Hey y'all, my name is Avery Morgan and I'm the general manager at KCSB, which is the college and community radio station here. Regarding spending, we spent around $316K since July 1st of 2025, which is including our payroll and operations. But thanks to our fund drive this past February, we were able to raise additional funds to help supplement our lock-in, since as you can see, our costs are greater than our lock-in. We've had $120,000 in upper deck repairs, which we'll have to take from our cell site income, which is a separate source from our lock-in fee. At the station, we broadcast 24/7, available on FM radio or through our website, kcsb.org. We have around 100 DJs on air, with around 80 of those being students and the others being community members, many of whom have had shows for many years, which is a great training opportunity for the DJs. Our programming is independent, non-commercial, and educational, and there's a huge focus on local music and news. Our group of 15 paid student staff work to support operations such as a variety of student internships in music journalism and sports and news reporting. We have around 200 volunteers at the station in our various departments like sports, news, music, engineering, archives, and our zine committee. Recently, we hosted 2 DIY concerts, one at the AS Bike Shop, which was the first live event hosted in the space. So thank you to Adam from the Bike Shop for helping that collaboration. And then we just hosted a metal and punk show last Friday at the Dolores Co-op. Alongside supporting the local music scene through shows, we've hosted around 25 live and studio performances this quarter, where bands come into KCSB to play live on air. This gives students a chance to learn about the local 805 music scene. Some additional upcoming projects we have is revamping our website alongside the AS developer Alex Hervow and starting our KCSB app, both of which will make our radio broadcast and blog much more accessible to new listeners. Soon we'll be relocating to Embarcadero Hall while Stork Tower is being repaired. We've been underneath Stork Tower for over 50 years, so this will be a big change for the station, and we can expect a lot of new costs as we adapt our offices and equipment to a new space. And that's it. Thanks for your time. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I'm the chair of the Living History Project, and I'll just introduce who we are because we have come back from a hiatus this year. We basically we archive activism history across campus. Here are some photos of protests that we've been to, albeit you can't see it that well. And this year we had a budget of about $9,000. In this quarter, we've only spent $700 so far, not including honoraria. However, by the end of the quarter, we hope to purchase necessary camera equipment to continue archiving events digitally and also pay out our spring honoraria. So far this quarter, we've continued our collaboration with the Global Gaucho Commission. They've already touched upon that. And we were also had the opportunity to attend Pride Week events and do some archival work. We created archival summaries of each of their events as well as taking videos as well. And then we also hosted our first event coming back from our hiatus, which was a poster and zine making event, which had 30 in attendance, and it was really fun. And then our last project of the quarter is a collaborative zine. We're really inspired by the archive and paper and print media. So we really want to work together to put a zine that showcases as many campus organizations and resources as possible. So if you guys are interested in having a zine page, I have a QR code there. Hopefully it takes you to the right form. And looking forward, we'd love to continue collaborating with more BCUs and creating archival records for the great events that you guys are holding. So if you ever want to reach out, please do. And if you don't know how we fit into that archival work, we can always talk it out. Thank you.
There is again with food at 7:30, so this is the last call if anyone wants to grab more food. Do so now or take it home.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kira. I'm one of the co-chairs for Zero Waste Committee. Our mission is to design, plan, and implement zero waste initiatives on campus and throughout Isla Vista to help the community reduce their impact. We've spent approximately $6,430 this quarter. Some of our highlights is we had our yearly Zero Waste Festival where we had over 300 attendees. We had live music, free food, and a bouncy castle that was a hit. We've had over 125,000 views on our social media. We've continued our shoe recycling and sports recycling projects as well. We've collected a lot of shoes and also a lot of sportswear. Some other things that we've been up to are recruiting new members. We've continued our reusable menstrual products project, and we're continuing to increase our social media outreach and communication so people know more of what we're doing. Thank you so much.
Okay, hi everyone, good evening. My name is Riley Gonzalez.
And I'm Zergadina.
And we are the incoming internal and external chairs for Raíces de Mi Tierra. To start off with our budget, out of the $8,100 operating budget, we ended up spending about $6,873. We've also currently been focusing on onboarding our new board for next year and helping them settle into the processes through shadowing. So for events, we attended the Danzantes Unidos workshop in Fresno for a couple days where dancers participated in workshops from folklorico teachers from all over the country, which was a very rewarding opportunity. We also hosted a cultural night market, Sabores de Nuestras Tierras, which had about 100 participants. We ended up recalculating, it was about 100 plus. We also hosted a tote bag making social for members to unwind during midterms week. We organized our alumni weekend. We got a few alumni to come back and spend some time with us, which was very, very rewarding. Finally, we partnered with IBRPD for their Music in the Park series,
We co-hosted the Cinco de Mayo Festival that was on May 2nd, and we had a turnout of over 500 people. So it was very successful. For performances, we performed at the Latinx Block Party that was hosted by the Sierra Madre and San Joaquin apartment communities on April 28th. We also performed at the Cinco de Mayo event that we co-hosted and IBCRC's Pardal Carnival that was on May 3rd. We also had a performance for mental health peers for an outreach event that they had on May 7th.
Now moving on to outreach. So at the end of this month, we're gonna have Técnica, Arte y Folklore, campus tour, and performances that are under your banquet. That's annual. April 18th, we had the Latin College Day workshop, and we also expanded our mission statement to be more inclusive to our community as well as everyone on campus. Partnerships, we partnered up with IVPRD, El Congreso for Latin College Day, and for planning, we are still planning that end of the month banquet. And for Reggaeton Night, the May 29th, and our showcase happening in June 5th. We've been planning that all year. So it's open for everyone and it's free. Please come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone from the food bank? Oh, perfect, thank you.
Hi, my name is Khalees. I'm the chair of the Food Bank Committee. And we work by supporting and promoting the AS Food Bank, which provides free food, toiletries, and resource information to all UCSB students. The Food Bank Advisory Committee supports and promotes the AS Food Bank through outreach, programming, and campus collaborations. Our total budget this year is $20,000. In this quarter, we've spent $5,500, with $3,100 of that being in programming and $2,400 in honoraria to directly increase student awareness and engagement around basic needs. This year, we've taken a more active role in outreach and student engagement by organizing tabling efforts, campus events, pop-up initiatives, and collaborative programming that expanded awareness of basic need resources across UCSB. Some of our initiatives included participating in open house, youth sensation, the transfer open house, and the stigma-free resource fair, as well as partnering with CARE for the Seats for Healthy Relationships event. We also focus on culturally relevant food access through collaborations with student organizations, including distributing 100 Chana Masala meal kits within this and supporting an additional collaboration with the Envision Club that served 15 students. Our focus continues to be intentional spending that maximizes visibility, accessibility, and long-term support for food security and basic needs resources on campus. I'll be speaking for Food Bank as well. The AS Food Bank continues to serve as a critical basic needs resource for UCSB students by providing free food, toiletries, and additional support resources to the campus community. We currently operate on a $975,000 budget with an estimated $180,000 allocated toward food purchases and approximately $120,000 spent this quarter to date on operations excluding labor, rent, and other fixed costs. This quarter, we celebrated the Food Bank's 15th anniversary, organized cooking supply giveaways, and hosted a food drive that collected over 150 pounds of food donations. We also participated in the UC Survey campaign, raised $478 directly for the food bank, and collaborated with the Department of Public Works and Health and Wellness on our Fava Beans initiative. Our spring quarter impact continues to demonstrate both the growing level of student need and the importance of accessible food resources on campus. To date, we have recorded 17,895 unique pantry visits and distributed over 73,271 pounds of food to students. Thank you.
Vice Chair Liaison Committee, we're mostly an internal affairs unit. So the main thing that we did this year or this quarter, our biggest thing and something that we hope the future committees, liaison committee will do is a Chick-fil-A plus jewelry mixer, which was a collaboration between Senate and BCUs, and we're hoping to make sure those connections and communication lines are still available going forward. So our total budget's $9,000, and we only spent around $1,000 this quarter, again, because we're very internal. The main things as well is that we have huge legal code updates to add something called department heads to our committee, which will be overseeing BCU. So it's really important that you guys are kind of aware of what department heads are, and making the committee the most active and expanded it's been since its origin. And in general, we are trying to solidify accountability systems and campus-wide participation between all the BCUs. All right, thank you.
Well, for anything related to finance, no news is good news. So to report, other than just a few numbers. So I thought it's already, end of this fiscal year. So these numbers here are mostly total numbers. I would say one thing that we did like really kind of interesting this year is that we did an outreach event, finance fair, thanks to my very creative vice chair and my officers. We had 150 plus people completely the whole tutorial that we designed for them to like walk through how to apply for funding for finance. And there's like at least 200 plus people or 250 plus people stop by for music and all that. In terms of requests and funding totals, so this year we processed 790 requests in total, and we funded 612 of them, totaling like 1 million for just from finance fund alone. And a lot of those other numbers are coming from the MOUs that we have with all the BCUs who have like rollovers from previous years. And we were able to spend down a lot of our MOs very significantly. The ones we have with program board, we spent like $350,000 from that and $167,000 from TQCOM, for example. And these are just like the big numbers. So I didn't even list everything out. And another thing that was kind of like due to our very kind of like outreach efforts is that the startup fund. So if you guys know that all the on-campus organizations can apply for a free 250 startup fund from the finance committee. And to my knowledge, is the first time that that fund have ever been drained out for the fiscal year. So that means we at least fund 60 more new on-campus orgs for this year. And then because of how much requests that we're receiving, we also was able to ask for a like 70K from the reserve for our last 2 meetings, and they're also very quickly spent out. And so there's also a few attempts for this quarter, or actually started from last quarter, to do a little of an improvement on policy procedure updates. For example, like BCU asking for exception right now don't have to come to finance committee to present anymore. The same thing goes with RCOs who are only applying for like under $1,000 and don't need an exception. So yeah, always try to do a little bit better, and I hope we kind of sort of did it this year. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Jimmy. There's still a bit of food if anyone wants to grab something to take home or welcome to.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruby, and I am the Assistant Controller in the Office of the Controllers. For those of you who may not be familiar with what we do here, we serve as kind of a recommendation service, somewhat of a liaison between BCU, Senate, and outside vendors to ensure that vendors being used on campus comply with codes and other guidelines we are given by the school. We did have a bit of a smaller board this quarter due to graduation dates and whatnot, but we were still able to successfully complete a polo recommendation project with the ticket office. We also have additional projects in progress currently with the Department of Worms, the food bank office, as well as an additional ticket office project. Additionally, we're looking into additional AS enterprise creation mechanisms, and a decent amount of our funding does also go towards honoraria. So yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Noah Lucan, Chair of the Senate Outreach Committee. Vice Chair Harder is going to talk about some of the projects we've done, but I just want to emphasize, especially for the new senators in the room, the crux of our role and our job as student leaders is to represent the students that we serve, that elected us. And so what the Outreach Committee does is share information about associated students to the student body, and then hear from the student body and try to turn what we hear into policy. So I want to make sure that we as an association and the future leaders of the association are accounting for what the student body actually wants and trying to act on that, because it can get lost kind of in the politics of everything. So, yeah.
That's very well said, Chair Lucan. Thanks, starting us off with that wisdom. As far as what the outreach committee has done this year and this quarter specifically, I want to start with the first line, of course, the Future Leaders in Governance Fellowship. For those of you who are not aware, it's basically a fellowship that the Senate established this year. That's most likely going to be housed in the EVPLA's office next year. That partners with a bunch of legislators in the area, all the way from the local to the state level. It's completely free to be involved, and we provide internship, fellowship opportunities to students that want to get involved, getting involved in local governance, essentially. So, of course, our mandate is to interact with the student body. So we did elections tabling every single day for the entire elections period for about 5 hours every single day, gave away thousands and thousands of flyers, spoke to thousands of students, did our part, our absolute best to promote the election. Of course, the election did take a little bit, so we'll try to do a better job next year, of course. The focus group discussions, that's basically where we get a group of students completely biased or unbiased, anonymously selected, and we have a discussion with them. We open a discourse with them regarding how they feel about associated students, gathering information, and then translating that to the Senate, and then trying to provide that information to the VCUs as well. We did an IB living conditions study. That one's pretty self-explanatory. We all know what it's like to live in IB. So we figured we'd document it and then empower future leaders to make a difference with that information. We grew our social media presence quite a bit this year, about 85,000 cumulative views. So that's pretty amazing. Another project that the outreach committee did this year was a UCOP policy guide. So basically this is a policy analysis of all of the UCOP policies that the outreach committee provided commentary on for as well. So for any future leaders in the association, they can look at these policies, read the commentary, and approach their job with a little bit more clarity. And then the library whiteboards project. Of course, the library is notorious for not having enough whiteboards. So the Senate Outreach Committee headed a high impact project that basically funded about 13 whiteboards, really big ones that are going to be going in the library. So for all the STEM majors out there, we did that one for you, really. But that's about all. I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Addison Wilson, and I'm representing the elections board. I'm filling in for our newly elected chair, Annabelle, but she's super excited to take over, and we are going to address some of the elections that happened. So the estimated amount that we spent this quarter was $9,000, and this is definitely our bigger quarter just because it is when the election happened. So all that we've been working up to happens over the course of these last 2 weeks. And so I just want to congratulate you all on an amazing election and all the campaigning. It was really cool to see all of what you guys did and what you took on. So this year we did the candidate orientation meeting, and so that includes all of the candidate headshots, which provides a good way for you to see all of your candidates and for you to vote. So all of you guys who are there, thank you for coming, as well as the candidate forum, and then also the election results events. So that's what all of the budget goes to. And then we were just talking about future elections. Obviously, this election went a little bit longer than how we expected. So we're going to go into how to make that better and how to improve election results in the future. So yes, thank you guys.
Hi guys, my name is Grace. I'm the commissioner for program board. As you can see, we did a lot this quarter. We spent about half of our budget just because we had extravaganza last week with Dominic Fike, JT, Earl Sweatshirt, and Jane Remover. We had 7,410 people scan in for an entirely free event for undergraduate students. And earlier this quarter, in the first week, we had the warm-up with Liliati and Dustin Conrad. That was fully sold out for a 4,000 capacity show. We had 2 cultural events this quarter, Solange and Jordan Childs, which is on Wednesday. So you guys should definitely come for Jordan Childs tomorrow. We had 1 hub show, which was 8,000 capacity in the hub in the USEN with Frost Children and Cowgirl Clue as an opener, completely sold out.
We had a park show in Enniscortso with the tulips. That was 400 capacity. That one was also free and we filled capacity entirely. We also have free Tuesday films, which if you guys want to after this, you guys can come. We're showing Hamilton tonight. And we also have our ambassador program where some of our ambassadors, they've been super helpful with like planning events like Extravaganza, but they also are planning their own events and planning their own stork show. They've been super helpful with all of our events. And we've also helped with some of our funding, contribute to funding for about 10 AS orgs and RCOs to just help with like their events or just production staffing needs or just promoting their events through our social media. And it's been awesome.
The bike shop left some stats for us, so I'm gonna go over those really quickly. So the bike shop's total budget for the year is 521,000. And some projects, events, and initiatives from this quarter, a new program to recycle old bike tires instead of sending them to the dump, which saves thousands of pounds of rubber per quarter. A newly developed program to refurbish donated bikes and get them back into the community at a low cost to customers. Bike repair provided at Fix-A-Fairs, Bike to Work Day, Causeway Bike Repair Shop, and Cyclemania. They did a collaboration with KCSB to provide fun and novel space for live music and other artistic endeavors. They supported the Tandem Bicycle Club, exciting, and the student-led Women and Wheels workshops to teach bicycle repair in a friendly, inclusive environment. And they're putting finishing touches on construction of the new building.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Melanie Jones, and I am the second pro tempore of the 76th Senate. My co-pro tempore, Senator Sussman, could not be here tonight, so he sent over a video. I'm going to let that play, and then I'll add some highlights at the end.
Thank you for being in this student. I was at something. I'm here, we're going to start from the middle today. And there's probably fun, right? This is programs, and I apologize for me. Either anything as your policy or all the specific so three levels, the department shares go a lot fast and that so this is going to do is going to by core solutions in the next that proper guidance for students and all graduate community. The proper possibility is again investigation of any next level set. The student by level is faster, probably zero of the BC office of the association. So already like the most is there's been a controversial which is the consolidate course of units. That helps me to not pay $8,000 for the course of other than that, they want to go a little wider and continue to use the scary knowledge and I may guess you can ESS at the most PCB, both of which are very, very sensitive to really low in budget to be sure that our CCB is not only not this, but yes, rather than in regards to that, besides that, I don't think I want to thank you all for amazing for me and losing our team. I'm your first vision for work. It's not things. Other work comes to one of the sides like this, as well as the others. Congratulations, we have congratulations on the get to thank you.
Thank you, Evan. I just wanted to add a couple things that we're most proud of this quarter. The Senate approved nearly $300,000 in reserves transfers for two major student impact projects. The first one being the Michael Moss Service to Economic Student Act, bringing Bloomberg terminals to campus for the first time. And then the second one was the Workspace Pod initiative that I worked on in collaboration with CLAS to bring 4 productivity pods to the Student Resource Building. Look out for these new capital improvements coming to campus around fall time.
We passed 27 pieces of legislation, 21 bills, and 6 different resolutions, including resolutions defending our foreign language program, condemning Executive Order 14391, and condemning significant increases in student fees. We also placed a constitutional amendment on this year's spring ballot to address free provisions for MTBCUs, approved the fiscal year 2027 budget, and established the Future Leaders in Governance Fellowship, which the Outreach Committee spoke on previously. All of this to invest in the next generation of student leaders. I'm honored also to have served in my role this past year as the second pro tempore, and everything that not just the Senate, but the association has accomplished this school year. I'm excited to see where the next group of student leaders go, passing on the baton. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Melanie. Alrighty, my last quarterly report as president. So our annual budget was 53,300. That's after we got a pretty significant addition of money from the Senate. Thank you guys. And we spent $42,000 this quarter plus honoraria. So we also had funding sources from outside of our budget. Starting off with meetings, because this is a big part of my job. Some highlights, I met with CLG a few times to talk about long-term funding agreements with the university. I had 2 meetings with Lean On Me to discuss collaborations with AS and Lean On Me. I met to deliberate the budget, and I also went up to Oakland this quarter and I met with the UC Council of Presidents and President Milliken. I had meetings with Chancellor Asanas and also the Chancellor's Student Advisory Committee. I met with the Student Regent Nomination Committee to help determine who would move forward in the Student Regent search. And I also met with the UC Center for Economic Justice in Action. Some projects that the Office of the President worked on this quarter, first of which, the Super Cucas burritos, free burritos at Super Cucas we distributed 2,000 for students on EBT, low-income students, students referred by basic needs, and undocumented students. I mentioned the budget recommendation. We made the ASOP budget recommendation, standardizing food expenditures across AS, and we also are working in tandem with that budget recommendation, working with HR to create a cultural communities advisor for AS to help undersupported groups in AS. I helped host the executive director vision setting sessions to set the vision for our new executive director moving forward. I have been negotiating with the library this entire quarter on maintaining the current hours that we have as opposed to a reduction. And we successfully are signing a continuation of an MOU that would keep the hours that we're currently at as opposed to closing at like 9 p.m. And we're currently working on fundraising study long term. I've also been working on continuation of Narcan and undergraduate housing, working on making sure that this project will continue on and continue to expand into our new housing projects. I've also worked to raise over $10,000 for the Dream Fresh program and the USS Meal Plan Scholarship Program to support undocumented students. And we're also working to expand the Monarch Opportunity Scholarship, which is a collaboration with USS and the Office of Financial Aid. And this will allow undocumented students to access employment opportunities in AS. We also worked with the Office of the Internal Vice President to make some expansions and improvements to the Pearman Fellowship Program, including hosting our very first Pearman Fellowship Project Symposium. That was on Monday. It went super well, and I got to see lots of freshmen and sophomores giving their exciting ideas for AS. I mentioned this earlier, but AS Newsletter, Submit Now, Student of the Quarter, Submit Now, and then continuing our work on revamping the Pardall Light Tunnel. Some events that we hosted this month, EAB mentioned it earlier, we hosted Earth Month, which was such a huge success. We collaborated on over 35 events throughout the month over the span of 3 weeks. I also hosted for the third time Overdose Prevention Week with Captures for Recovery, and we distributed over 1,000 overdose prevention kits leading up to Soultopia. We had a professional clothing distribution in continuation of the professional clothing drive that we did last quarter. And we also did a cultural comfort foods fair right here in the Corwin Pavilion, a collaboration with the Library for UCSB Reads and Crying in H Mart. And we had over 500 people come out and really just enjoy celebrating comfort foods, cultural appreciation. We hosted our third quarterly Protect Your Peers Rapid Response Training with 805 on DocuFund. We also hosted the Spring Quarterly, Bring Career Services, to give a good workshop on how to market your AS experience for the job market, continuing the Isla Vista Farmers Market and Coffee with the President office hours. We also hosted a grad cap decorating event with Ondas and Meet the Execs at Woodstocks. And then we also brought Ventura District Attorney General, District Attorney Paul Nunez, and some upcoming events tomorrow. Last Coffee with the President that I'm doing, also Senior Celebration Fair with the Alumni Association over at Stork Tower. We've got an event on Thursday called Stop Loving Losers. Check it out. It should be really fun, and there'll be free mochi donuts. Quarterly self-care goodie bag tabling at the Finance Essentials booth. Quarterly library snack distribution. And I'm also working with 805 on DocuFund and the comm department on an art auction. And here's some pictures. This is from my trip to Oakland. This is President Milliken at his very fancy house. And these two are from the Cultural Comfort Foods Night. This is me and Japanese breakfast. I just had to put it up there because I was fangirling. And this is from our lovely Pyramid Fellow Symposium. And that is my quarter.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Casey. I'm the Chief of Staff for the Office of the IVP. The IVP, Henry, couldn't be here. He's currently in Sacramento advocating for student housing, and he sends his apologies for not being able to make it. So our total budget is 15.5K with 14K reserved for honoraria. We spent approximately 1K from our budget this quarter, and then we had a bunch of events that were designed for like all the executive offices to participate in. So that funding came from the leadership fund. And then we had a high impact project fund for Ivy Underground. So this quarter, we completed many of our key initiatives while laying the groundwork for future student opportunities. After working closely with University administration throughout the year, the IVP and Chief Compliance Officers secured approximately $2,000 from AS Senate, $200,000 from AS Senate to bring Bloomberg terminals to campus. These are advanced software platforms used by financial professionals to access real-time market data and conduct financial analysis. And their addition to campus will greatly expand student access to resources in finance and economics. These are going to be housed in room 2528 of the UCSB library. Additionally, we saw a year full of planning come to fruition through Ivy Underground, which was an on-campus music festival that brought together Isla Vista bands, vendors, and students for a vibrant community event. We had attendance of approximately 500 people. Additionally, our second president pro temp, Melanie, secured approximately $100,000 for the installation of study pods in SRB, creating additional spaces for study and students to take meetings throughout the day. I planned and hosted the Meet the Execs event at Woodstocks, which introduced both outgoing and, incoming elected officials. We have over 200 attendees at that. The newly revamped Pearman Fellowship officially has completed its first year, culminating in the Pearman Fellowship Research Exposition, which President Metzger talked about, which was yesterday. We've also just done general advocacy, including advocating against ongoing cuts to UCSB's language programs, engaged in discussions with administrative staff regarding the prospect of building a SRB 2.0, and written legislation to promote student housing rights and improve association-wide project tracking. Additionally, as President Metzger also mentioned, we have maintained collaboration with the UCSB library in hopes of restoring 24-hour study access. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be super quick. This quarter we spent like $8,000, which basically finished our budget for this year. And I've narrowed it down to the biggest things that we did this quarter. We did Ivy Games, which was super fun. It was a basketball tournament that also raised money for the charity 805 Undalki Fund. We gave away like $2,000 in prizes at it. And you can see those are the two winning teams from both brackets. You can probably tell they're going to win based on the fact they're like 7 feet tall, but it was really, really fun. We also had our SCI screen-a-thons as per usual, which served over 100 students. And we also had a basic needs fair with the Office of the President, which had SCI screening as well as vision exams, which also had well over 100 people. We gave out free blenders. And so, yeah, that's me with my great office over there on the far right. But yeah, thank you guys. Oh, wait. I always forget I'm supposed to do this too. Also UCIV, they're like a sub branch of my office. They had an amazing quarter as per usual. Their total budget's $100,000. They had over 5,400 visits to their tents, 14 administrations of first aid, and over 200 units of Narcan distributed, which is like amazing, literally life-saving work. And yeah, they have last 2 shifts coming up. They did 16 shifts just this quarter. And so as per usual, they do amazing work. Thanks, guys.
Hi, guys. This will be my last report as EVPSA. This year, our total budget was 100,000. Sorry, I don't know why that zero is missing. Estimated amount just this quarter on honoraria will be around 30K. We are still in the works with finalizing what UCSA and Lobby Corps will be paying for in regards to a lot of our lobbying days and conferences that we hosted through this year. So that's TBD, but at least 30K would be this quarter. As Lobby Corps already touched on, we had our UC Hill Day over spring break, so right before coming into this quarter, in which we touched mostly upon a lot of our different UCSA campaigns, but basic needs and how they impact throughout the UC system. We had those UCSA identity-based advocacy days with our SWANA and AANHPI being the first ever hosted by UCSA. So creating more opportunities for students within marginalized communities to come to the Capitol and advocate for themselves. Shortly after that, UCSA and the basically graduate student equivalent, we came to San Francisco to do some student ranger interviews, which hopefully we'll get some results on soon. But we're lucky enough to go in and have the opportunity to have chose those students that will better represent us. And on that note, we also were able to see ACA 18 pass through the House, which is legislation that will create another student region position. So with those interviews, hopefully we can see within the next year if things go as projected and in the right trajectory, that not only will we re-interview for 1 student regent position, but 2 of those. And then shortly after that as well, we did meet with the UC president, also touching upon basic needs, more how we can better support undocumented students past just passing SB 98. As well as transfer student advocacy and how we can go and have more ethical spending within our associated students, as we did see a lot of banning on boycotts. Currently, as Lobby Corps mentioned, we do have our UCSB Hill Day, in which we will be touching upon basic needs, as that is one of the issues that's impacting a lot of our campuses, but specifically at UCSB, how we can better support things like our food bank, create better housing security. Those are just some of the issues we'll be touching upon. And I think it was briefly touched upon, but we were able to host a town hall with our assembly member, Greg Hart. That was pretty successful. We got a good turnout there. We unfortunately were not able to host Monique Limon due to last minute conflict scheduling, as she's taken on this new position, but that was something we hope to have within this quarter. And not really mentioned here, but it's more recent development, like within UCSA, we're working on ways to bring more light and support and advocacy towards students within advocacy groups at UCLA that were wrongfully punished with code of conduct charges, despite one of the students not even speaking at the meeting. which is like regards more of our last Regents meeting. And with that, we also are working on better support systems for students who are impacted with a lot of recent events, one in particular being in San Diego, the recent shooting at the largest Islamic center. So working on ways we can better support students within the entire C with all the different federal and statewide developments we've had, but I'll wrap it up at that. Thank you, guys.
Hi, guys. You're almost through the night, and I'm sure you all stayed because you're super excited for the OSA report. So we had a budget of $19,460 plus the additional $15,500 we got from Senate, and we spent around $6,700 this spring quarter. Our caseworkers, they've been trained by Office of Student Conduct again because of that new code of conduct that they put in place this year. So that was really good to hear from them. And then they were also just trained yesterday by the Restorative Justice Program. This quarter, especially in the beginning, we saw a huge increase in academic petitions and grade appeals. And then my caseworkers are continuing their liaison roles with a lot of different offices, like offices, student conduct is one of them, financial aid, academic advising, DSP, like think of an office that we might be dealing with and we have a liaison for them. And similarly, we have them continuing to work on the resource guides for our own internal records, but also to make sure that caseworkers are as equipped as possible to help students through their cases. And then they're also now working on appeal/petition templates. Again, so it's as easy as possible for students to navigate these complicated, overwhelming bureaucratic processes that are in the university. Additionally, Suzanne Perkins, she was here earlier, but she spoke at Senate, not last week, but the week before about UCOB. They have the comments open for the interim code of conduct. So my office is going to be sending in some comments about their lack of an appeal process for students who weren't able to participate in their conduct process for whatever reason. Maybe they were incarcerated, maybe they were in a psychiatric ward, anything along those lines. There's currently nothing in there for that, so we want to make sure that those students are supported, and we will be collaborating with the other SAGs across the UC system on this effort. We also on that end, we will be meeting with the UCSD Student Advocate General Office. They're visiting us this next weekend, so we're pretty excited about that. We had 3 main events this year or this quarter. We had our final Protect Your Peers training, which Leanne and Leah both mentioned. We also had a meeting to kind of pass the baton onto our new leaders. So we're pretty excited to see that gain momentum for not just this year, but the next. We had a transfer student resources event. We also collaborated with ASOP on that. And then we had a DSP accommodation workshop. There's a completely new DSP online system, and a lot of disabled students have been confused, professors similarly, very confused on how this works. So we had a workshop to clear up those questions and let students know that, of course, they have our grievance caseworkers in the event that they're not able to get their accommodations for whatever reason. Lastly, our technology subcommittee, they're currently in the very nascent stages of a new model quiz. We're not really sure what to call it yet, but it's basically a sort of like a questionnaire that would direct students to the campus resources and relevant OSA division that works for them. So if I'm trying to think of a good example, but maybe they didn't get their financial aid, but they don't know who to talk to about that. They need some sort of support.
this kind of questionnaire would help them find like the best resources on campus and within AS for them. We're also on the Go Gaucho app, we're doing a huge front end overall to make sure that we have Android compatibility. Currently, the Go Gaucho app is only available on iOS, and then those with non-iOS, like with Android, just have to use the website. So we're trying to make sure that that is not the case for the future. This is a long-term project. We've improved course information, screen interface, and schedule building page. And then there's now a RecSend capacity indicator. Yeah, that's about it. Good job on surviving today. I'll pass it on to Leanne. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cindy. A big round of applause for staying, for completing your work this quarter. Congratulations to all the graduating seniors. Yay. All right. I don't need to make a big speech now. I'll talk at the AS Awards, but it's been so much fun being president, and I'm really glad that we were able to create a space like this to celebrate our work each quarter. And I can very much confidently say that the state of the association is the best it's ever been. So congratulations. Honestly, no. Feel free to stick around and ask questions, hang out, and have a good night. See you at the swearing in.